Hello, Dr. Shan.
Oh, how are you? Vanakkam.
All right, we can get started. I started recording, Dr. Shan.
Yes. Thank you.
All right, welcome all. Welcome to our so the Autism Awareness Workshop series is a 6-week series, and each and every part, every episode of this has a very detailed research work as well as the lot of thought works. And Dr. Shan Lakshmanan, who has been a Harvard-trained scientist, and he is here with us. He has wholeheartedly accepted, to conduct this series by sharing his valuable time, resources, and based on whatever the decades of experience what he brings in. And he is the founder of the Siddha transdisciplinary services, and has been very well known across the world. He has his presence, and when last year he has been invited regularly by the various universities, including various organizations. He is also a certified health coach, and he's bringing a mix of the ancient tradition as well as the modern need and the modern challenges. So having the solution from the ancient as well as the without ignoring the modern solutions for the ancient problems. So it's a mix of both, and I'm so glad to have Dr. Shan. Yes, Dr. Shan, you can just continue. And we had, this is the 4th week in the series, so we have 3 more series. And in case if you're listening for the first time, please watch this space for all the recordings. In case if you're watching through the YouTube, you can find the links, in the description. And please make it as interactive as possible. And we want to make it as an interactive workshop. It's a workshop and a boot camp, and it's not just a lecturer listening. Just wanted to remain for the folks who might have joined fresh. And please try to leverage as much as possible. We'll also have a Q&A session at the end, so you can also get it. So without further ado, I'm so happy to welcome Dr. Shan. Yes, Dr. Shan, over to you.
Thank you, Mahendiran, and for keeping this up. Even in your busy schedule, we all have busy schedules, but we have to run all the shows. So I am really thankful for that. And thank you all for coming. For people who are new, you may just watch the video. So we have recorded video what we have covered last week, so you don't miss anything. So how many of you were able to do the taste parameter last week? I asked you to do some taste, different type of taste in the food, and you will see where I am coming in a bit. But how many of you try at home? Can you raise your hands? You can use the reaction button to raise your hands. There's a reaction button and there is a raise hand button. It will show like this. If you click the reactions, it shows like this. You can raise your hands. So I know that so many people tried. Hi. So yeah. So how many of you tried? Anyone? So you did not try. How many of you attended last week? I see some new faces this time. So how many of you attended last week? Can you raise your hands? Use it. Shashank, yes. So you were not able to try any of the the taste. Did you try? You can chat or say yes. You can unmute if you want. Were you able to try? Did you try doing the taste parameter? Did you do that? Mindfulness eating. So Shashank, can you chat? Yeah, We tried on my kid. He was so reluctant to like lemon. Did you try? That's the thing, So first thing is I want you to try. Okay. This is not for the kids because that is not where we are going now. Okay. So taste parameter is a separate thing. Why we request you to taste is for yourself. So when you become very mindful, see what happens is I want you to make them understand that without even the food going inside, we will be able to have an effect. So we are going to use this because many of the kids may reject the food. They may not even like the food. Suppose they give you're trying like lemon or something else, they may not like it because they are tasting it. That taste they didn't like. But in spite of that, because they are tasting it, it will have a benefit. That's what I wanted to come, there. It's what I wanted you to understand.
So, Dr. Shan,
Tasting.
Geetha,
Yes.
I didn't know. This is the first session I attended. I didn't know about the previous sessions. So, I can say that I have conducted this exercise on a few of my family members who were having a lower HP levels based on the research we were saying. So, they were like just tasting 5 raisins, just chewing them nicely and eating it for 10 to 15 minutes like that. And after like 2 to 3 weeks, they could see a little improvement in the HP levels without taking any medication and other thing, but mainly focusing on just that 5 raisins they eat 3 times a day.
Wonderful. So this is a practical example. So Abhita, she is a sports coach and also mindful training and all these things. So she is doing the research part of the this Siddha research area in taste, and they have taken many hundreds and hundreds of patients right now. They're testing whether this is working or not, and we could find. So we actually submitted a proposal to the one of the sustainable development program project opened by government of Karnataka. So for that, the taste parameter, the claim is that independent of whether we take food inside, the taste just by touching the tongue and the tasting will have an effect, even have a medicinal effect in the body. So we are going to use this as a criteria to heal, because it's difficult for a kid suffering from this particular problem to make them eat everything. They may reject this very well understood. So that's why we are taking it lighter, where we are saying that you don't have to eat, but you give them, you make them, they can chew this, tell them to chew, taste it. So this is the method we are using. So that's why I'm telling you to see what happens in you. If you will have confidence when you do this exam. And I suggest all of you, I told you last time to draw. None of you have shared anything, because I told you to take this measurement, do a measurement, share the measurement. So this will be statistics for you, will be helpful for others. If you are not able to do this, it's difficult. How are you going to implement this? So I'm not telling something very different. Every day, whatever you're eating, that's the thing that you're taking and you're tasting it, right? This will be very helpful. If you can give some report even for next week, that will be very helpful. You can, each one of you picking the food, particular type of food, and tasting it and writing down how much taste of all the 6 taste. So this is very important, because when you do that, if they're able to sense this taste, so we can use this criteria to solve this problem by making them taste. And I will tell you why that is important. See, for example, there is a sage scientist. We call our ancient people sage scientists, instead of looking them from a religious perspective or some other, Gurujis, all these things. That is a different aspect. Religion is a different aspect of the whole ancient, but there is a science. There's an indigenous science. So they have contributed to that kind of a science. Sage scientist Vadalar has given a method. So you have to take a certain kind of a component, and you can touch on their tongue, upper palate. So what happens? It touching the upper palate. Okay, that is also tasting only. It is tasting. By inside, you will be able to taste, but something happens. So if you're able to, if your kid is, if you're able to rub this on your kid, or even if they taste, that is fine. If you're not able to rub it in the upper palate, if your kid is like very adamant and it doesn't, it wants to reject this, then even tasting is fine. But otherwise, you can use this particular herb. So the herbs all have intelligence. See, everything now we are looking from a very modern perspective, which is very, very narrow, shallow. Food, the nutrition theory and about food and all, these ancient cultures have known it's gone into so much details that modern culture doesn't have that kind of a knowledge. Even a bit of knowledge, modern culture doesn't have about food. Relatively, it's a very, very small knowledge what modern culture has is about, calcium, protein, all these things. That is the I cannot even think, that's really a knowledge. It's not that to underestimate this, but that's not a real knowledge about food. Okay, here you're talking about very detailed kind of knowledge. What does food do to our body? So depending on the food, whatever we eat, number one, what happens? It touches the tongue. So 6 types of taste happens even before going inside. Whether you spit it, doesn't matter. Still you will have an effect. The taste transforms into particular energy. It does something in our body. Taking the taste, there are nadis in our body, tiny little tubes. It's called the femtobiology. Nadis, tiny tubes that take this taste and go to different parts of the body. They affect the physical body and the mental body. Both bodies are affected just by the taste. For example, you can take a spice here, without even the spice going inside, you can get angry within minutes. It is possible. So you have to really think, how is that the spice, this has given, you can take a sweet and you can be making, you'll be content. Happiness can happen within minutes. Independent. See, you can have a sugar. Sugar may be bad for health, but the sweetness of the sugar is good for health. Remember that. Sweetness is good, but sugar going inside because of the modernization and all the chemicals that they use to polish and all, that will give effect. That's a different story. But taste by itself will have an effect on you. So this is the higher intelligence of, love for all nutrition theory. Higher dimension. So number one, the taste itself will have an effect on our body. Number two, the food going inside, it changes into 7 types of tissues in our body, and then finally turns into energy. Okay, every food that we eat except for water converts into 7 Saptadhatu, we call it, 7 Dhadukal in Tamil. So it transformed into the 7 tissues and finally it converts into energy. Like how in modern science ATP to ADP, one phosphate, break down and energy comes out like that. In our ancient technique, they have talked about how food is converted. Very classical. This food is converted into finally energy. And then the food will affect, depending on what kind of food we eat, it will affect an organ. There are food that will affect organs, brain, the food that will organ the gut, they will affect the heart, lungs, like that. Each food will have 1 or 2 or 3 or more. Some food may affect many organs. That kind of food is there. So that is the medicinal property of that particular food. So food is has many things now component. Remember, food is not like an ordinary thing, where you can eat anything. Like this is our very shallow knowledge. But in this culture, we have a very deep knowledge. Everything is answered here. Okay. So food will have an effect on the physical body, different organs. It will convert into energy. Final byproduct is energy. Whatever we eat, that energy will come. It will pick the energy of that food. Energy of the food means whether it is a karma food, non-karma food, that energy also it will pick. And then the food by itself, the food will have the whatever we eat. If it is coming from a plant, that plant will have an intelligence. That intelligence also comes to us. Okay, and then it will have a medicinal property of that plant. That medicinal property will also come to us depending on what organ it affects, like that. Okay, so the final thing that is converting into energy is also very important. So it will pick the whole karmic. Karmic means like what is genetically there for that plant, everything will pick up. That's the karmic means actions, karma. We call it karma, right? So karma means whatever yendam soul sale, that is like word, deed, thought, word and deed. It is done, that will become part of our imprint. That means we are carrying the imprint of that particular plant or whatever we eat. If it's an animal, the karmic effect will be there. Okay, plant and animal, everything will have karmic effect. For animals, the karmic effect will be high, because as you see from plant, the plant is also a living organism. So whenever you have a living organism, there is something called the genetic center. Genetic center means they will have a all the, like a black box in the airplane. They will have information. There's an information box. Everything is stored. Whatever the plant does, everything is stored. As you grow, a plant has only one sense of touch. So most karmic is only sense of touch. It doesn't do much karmas. No negative karmas are there. But as you go, like little worms, like a caterpillar, like nattai, sang, like we call it a snail, all these things, they have 2 senses. So 2 senses means sense of taste also opens up. So the more carbon footprint they create. And then as you go to butterflies and other ant and all, they started to move faster in different parts. So they will have 3 senses. So the sense of smell also. So the more they have, they can fly now, they can go to different places, move faster into different places. So they will have more karmic effect, for carbon footprint only. Everything is based on carbon footprint. So carbon footprint, the more they have, the more karma in our body. There are cultures, they eat worms and all. in this world. So nothing is wrong if you look at from a perspective, but look at from our yogic perspective, we go for lowest karma to be karma free. Then we have the next level is like reptiles and other things, So Nandukum, Vandukum, we call it Nandukum, Vandukum. These all are mentioned in Silappadigaram, this in ancient Tamil literature. So the Nandu, Vandu means like the, what you call the crab and all, like they are reptile family. So they have also the eyes. So more and more karma. And then we have animals. They will have 5 other animals like cows or tigers or deers. They will have ears also. So as you look at how the evolution came, the sensory organs, touch. So touch is the beginning. Then the taste, next level. Then if you look at the nose, the smell is in the higher level. Then eyes. Then last came. So if you look at how it is done in evolution also, it comes, this comes on the top, then this is below, this is below, this is below, this evolution. This intelligence has been there in our ancient science, how we evolved from all these organisms. We were once upon our grandparents. Trees are our grandparents, great grandparents. So, cutting a tree is like cutting our grandparent only. There's no doubt about it. Today we are killing, we are doing other things because we have immaturity in things, but everything, whatever we do is, most human beings are doing against nature only. But now, the important thing is that this karmic effect will be there in our DNA. So now, if you are taking a food that is highly karmic, right, that is near to 5 senses, then the karmic effect will be reflected high. Compared to say plant. Plant is less karma. I'm not saying plant will not have karma, but you will have 1 sense karma. So the karmic footprint is very less. Whereas here the carbon footprint for eating an animal with higher dimension is like huge. Because they take the imprint, they do a lot of things that the imprint. Either it could be a tiger or even a deer. A deer would be fearful in the other end, they are feared every time the tiger can attack. That fear and everything is registered in that. A tiger will attack, that's a violence. So both, either way, these things will trigger us. So usually, this is for common people, we can tell this. But when we have a problem, it's better to avoid this karmic food. So karmic food means you have to go by this kind of thing, than going religious things. Some religious don't eat. So that is not the thing, this is bad, this is good. That you don't want to go to that kind of a thing. Because see, there is a culture in Jamaica. They are not going against, they are vegetarians, they are not going against nature, that kind of culture. I didn't know that there was a vegetarian culture in Jamaica, that kind of a population. So that means there are cultures across the world. In Okinawa island in Japan, once in a while only, some festival only they started to eat meat. Otherwise, regularly they were vegetarians. So they used to live 140 years. So by eating a vegetarian diet, there is a evidence that we can live longer and with less karma. Okay, less karma. Not necessarily that somebody is eating non-vegetarian food will die shorter. But today there are many scientific things that are proving that. Many things that are coming from, the number one is the highly processed. In addition to the natural thing that we live at certain point, people live, we hunted and lived, there was natural things, but now the more processing things happen, industries, all industrial farming. So their karma is like huge footprint. Animal farming is the number one. Apart from the natural thing that I told you, the karma, animal farming itself, there are many karmic thing that human beings done. Human being has caused. It becomes so huge that it's you cannot get a breakthrough for that kind of thing. So there is a really now we need to stop. We need to stop this at some point. Okay, and you can see the difference because how this recommendation came. This is not from ancient tradition culture. In Siddha and Ayurveda, there is no restriction for even vegetarian, non-vegetarian. Everything is okay. But Siddha, certain type of yogis are come with little very high thing. They came up with a logical thinking about this. But more than that, this is from a Western perspective only. What I'm talking about from a health perspective. Let's look at the health perspective. So there is a group of people who are doctors, modern doctors, who started to do research. Every time they're giving a medicine, and they're not very happy with the medicine. For everything we have to give a medicine. So they came up with an idea, okay, if a medicine is a very small component that's going to affect them, okay, what about food? Food is a lot. Body doesn't look the food, medicine as medicine. Body thinks everything is food only. Medicine is a human created thing. Oral medicine I'm talking about. So body doesn't look, it will only see that everything coming through a mouth is a food only. That's how this intelligence will look at. So then they thought that every component of a food is affecting the human body. So let us see what is really causing problems. So they started to do this and try to stop things that are against nature. So what they stopped is, number one is processed food, highly processed food. So in highly processed food, what the number one thing that they found was the dairy product. Number two they found was like all the meat product, and then eggs like this. So like that, they came up with the highly processed, maida, white sugar, these kind of things slowly. And then they said, hey, don't do this. Remove any processed food. Go for whole foods. When they started to, and now people started to use whole food, amazingly many things came up. Because this is a bunch of modern doctors who recommended this to their patient. They call themselves now health coaches. They find a way to get a certification and everything, and they did it differently. That's what the whole health coach industry came. Wellness health coach, industry thing came out. That's also a business now, but it's a conscious business. At least they're giving time, because modern doctors, they write something, prescribe, and then they don't care about you. Next time, if something happens, any parameters change. So healthcare, they monitor you as an advantage. They will say, hey, did you eat this? Did you, eliminate this? And next week, they follow up. So give them more time. You have questions, you can ask whether this food is good, this food is bad. So that was the success of this. So 3 months, 6 months, they stayed with, with the coaching line, and the client, they got successful. The patient got success, and therefore this industry boomed up, the more thing. But remember, in this country, like in the Western countries, like United States, we do not have a knowledge about the other culture, like whether Ayurveda, Siddha, this kind of thing is there, or other cultural thing, other cultural food, anything. But in spite of it, they were successful just by eliminating the diet. So number one, why a culture like in the Eastern culture, many countries, they are very good food. Their herbs they're using, India and all is amazingly, they are very good in lot of things that we are in our food, all naturally they are good. But in spite of it, why we have problem? Because we have problem with the modern usage of food. We did not know how to integrate this. We don't know what to eliminate. So the first thing that we have to do is to follow the Western thing on this aspect. Elimination diet. This component is missing in our Eastern culture. We have to adapt this. You need a modern wisdom for elimination. We have to look from perspective of what processed food means. We don't care about fast food. We may be eating food idlis. We may be eating idlis and we think it is healthy, but you may be fermenting, over fermenting, keeping in the fridge and taking and eating it 1 week. You don't know, because you don't know the microorganism that is developing. Within 48 hours it will be good, and after that it goes bad. You will not know the modern knowledge about it. So then what happens? This kind of microorganism goes inside. Then what happens? Our gut, it will spoil the gut. So this modern knowledge is lacking in the Eastern culture. This is what I understood. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but this is definitely missing vastly from the Eastern culture, whether they are living here or they are from outside. Here living also, in the beginning we all came here, we ate with the plastic wrap, microwave, all this crap thing we did. Then it took years. After 7-8 years only we came to like, actually, oh, this is microwave. We got the education on the modern knowledge. This is all modern knowledge. The same modern knowledge gave a wisdom. Oh, when we do microwave, what happens? This kind of, it is going to heat the plastic, and the plastic will mingle with these nanoparticles. If you do oven cooking, is high temperature is going to take all the paint nanoparticles and it will mix with the bread. You see? So this knowledge was missing. And then once we understood that, first, number one, you are talking about adding good component, good medicine, give me some Siddha medicine, Ayurvedic medicine. That's a secondary thing. First, number one, prevent the unwanted thing. Number one, unwanted thing, first you need to prevent, then add a good component. That is later. Then you go for higher dimensions. Now, right now, we are thinking about some medicine will do some magic. So don't think that will work. You could be any expert. Don't go for linear model that I give one medicine and you will eat it and then it will fix. So don't be that stupid. That's really the peak of stupidity. Sorry to use such words. But because we are made to believe that one medicine will solve this problem. That's wrong. Even if Ayurveda Siddha practitioners does this, it is completely wrong. You cannot solve autism using this linear model of prescribing medicine and solving this problem. We have to take a 360 degree and change many things very meticulously. Then continuously, if you're putting all the effect through your parenting and through coaching, and with all the help around you, the surrounding, because see, even if you are talking about good food, your kids are spoiled, your environment is so bad. So you have to really create a community for this, for your kid and your family to be healthy. So that is lacking today. Anything you go, all junk food is available around you. They are ready to keep parties, give all the junk food, and they can spoil a kid within minutes. So there is no way, it's a very tough, challenging thing. You're one time, it's like a pot with many holes. Whatever water you pour, if you have holes, it doesn't matter, it will go out. So even if you could give medicines and all these things, it will not have an effect, because already you are giving so much junk again and again. So it is impossible. So this is not the way. So you have to be very careful in this. This is a common sense. Do I have to be a scientist for this? Do I have to be a doctor for this? No, this is common sense. You know, the society knows, the government knows, but nobody is stopping this. Remember, everybody wants to be smart to sell things. They don't want to be truthful. You want to sell, I have a product, I want to sell this, this is a medicine, this is Ayurvedic medicine. And this is a modern medicine, this is the only way, modern only is the way, don't go for all these alternative, everything is fake. Like this, they want to sell their own thing, they're not coming in to the truth. The truth is that we have to completely heal from 360 degree. There is no linear medicine. It's a compound model. Only through compound model, any healing for that reason, but particularly this problem. Say for example, you have a cold, you can use linear model. 90% of the time you can work out. 90% of the time. Okay, but not for this case. What kind of case you can use linear model, you have to check. That linear model itself, if you are using holistic, it is good. Otherwise, you will have side effects. Okay. So, from this aspect only, I'm coming there. So, you need really a clear idea about what food that needs to go, how this food is going to affect you, and how, as I particularly told, that every plant, everything has an intelligence. Certain plants, they don't even have to convert into the 7 types of tissues to become energy. They can directly become energy when you touch your tongue. So these are called Kaya Siddhi herbs. Okay. What is the, immediately you will ask, what do you mean by Kaya Siddhi? Can you translate in English? You translate Pongal in English, I will tell you. If you can translate Pongal exactly in English in one word, then I will translate that. See, in certain cultures, certain things are that way only when you go enter the culture. So you only have to understand the culture. Everything cannot be translated. Okay. So Kaya Siddhi, you cannot explain in one word. That means, Kaya, this is Kaya. Kaya means the physical body. Siddhi is like Mukti, we call it Mukti and all these things, enlightenment, and like that. Siddhi is like making this physical body itself, going to immortality. That kind of herbs. Anti-aging, you can call it whatever you call it, right? So these herbs, there are 108 kind of herbs. When you use that, you can directly convert into energy. I will give you 2-3 herbs, okay, where you can use this. So one thing that you can use is called the Karisale. Karisale, if you translate into Sanskrit, even in a Sanskrit, there is a mistake here. So when you translate Karisale into, it is called Bringraj. Okay. You can, but there are in the Siddha tradition, there are 2 Karisales. There is a yellow flower, there is a white flower. Okay. So now you have to understand these things. Okay. So I will share a video. It will be mostly in Tamil tradition, but generally you can record this, whatever we have, this recording is good enough. So if you take the Karisale powder, Karisale, Karisalangani, Kotrale, Kayandagarai, these all are alternative names. Kotrale, Kayandagarai, Karisale, Karisalangani. These are tough words because it's Tamil. It is ancient language. It is tough word. But you have to become little tough to understand. That's okay, right? But this is word in Siddha, you can buy only using that word. Okay. This is one of the herbs I'm telling. Only this will not solve everything. Okay. So you take a little bit, make a little paste and rub on the upper palate. Okay. Clockwise, anti-clockwise and clockwise. Even if you cannot you can use a tooth powder as a, the powder can be used. Scarsale can be used as a tooth powder. Okay. In fact, it is as you do this, you can use Karsale only. They used to do all these eyeliners in ancient India. For the little kid, they will put like drishti. You know, the black dot for a little baby, they will put, our tradition. It's called Mai Podudal. They're made up of Karisale. Amazing intelligence. That herb has amazing intelligence. It'll give you like high spirituality, high anti-aging. Very spiritual herb. That's herbs are, they have their own intelligence. When they touch, they observe through the skin. They put here also. So it can go through the Tilartha column. This is a Varma point here. It can get observed. They can go through this. You can go through this. These are methods. They can go as a flame also. It can go inside. Photomedicine. So I'm slowly taking you to photomedicine. I wanted to cover photomedicine today, but little bit I will start next week. We'll go a little bit more on the photomedicine part. Okay. So these are some things to learn. So the Karisale, when you take this, that intelligence affect the brain, gut. Very helpful herb. Like that, something called Vallare. Here also translation things. Vallare is a Siddha medicine. Siddha medicine is the most ancient medicine in the world. So there are two types of medicine in the world. You can Google or whatever you want. The oldest language in this world is Tamil. The oldest language, okay, in the world. You can do research and see everything. I'm not, because I'm coming from a Tamil tradition. In fact, I speak a different language in my house. Okay, so I'm not even that kind of, we are considered Tamil, but I speak a different language. So I'm not, thinking that, so we have to accept certain things. I'm like Alaya Kannada, the Kannada, before the Kannada thing, translation from Tamil to Kannada, when it changed, Tamil became Kannada. There is a middle language. That's the kind of language I speak. But the root is the Tamil tradition, the Siddhas. So in this, they particularly mentioned these kind of herbs. So particularly, so when you do this, if you look at the oldest thing, when they did translations, many of the words meaning changed. So the same thing with the Brahmi. Vallare is another herb for your brain, completely for the brain. It's for Vallare is for the brain, intelligence, memory, all this. Today we have this some pill called Memory Plus. Where they derive this? It comes from Vallare. Okay, so Vallare is a herb that you can use. Okay, and that Vallare, it could be Vallare. You can see I can give you translations in other thing also. I will check out and give in Telugu or other kind of thing. Okay, Vallare, Vallarai. You can see online, but I have a book that will have a translation in Malayalam, Telugu and all. I can definitely, this is available mostly South Indian, all names. Most of these are available. It's a South Indian thing. Okay. Now, Brahmi, the translation goes to Brahmi, but that's not true. In Brahmi, in the Ayurvedic tradition, is called Neer Brahmi in Tamil. It's called Neer Brahmi. That leaf is different. Vallare leaf is only a Siddha leaf. So it will be like a brain shape, the Vallare. You go like this, like watercress. It will be like watercress. They go this way. The leaf will go horizontal growth. Okay. These all are regularly available, but you have to get the original kind of herbs from that particular, I have known how these things people like sell today. I know where they sell fraud, where they sell, all these things are there in all cultures, whether it's a holistic culture or anything. Everywhere people cheat, everywhere people, do things. So you have to get the right source, and then this is also another herb to be useful. Okay, so like that I can keep. Another thing is a very tough thing, I'll tell you. So these all are herbs that even when touch will have an effect. But if you take in another form some of the foods, you can add a little bit. I will tell you where all you can add these things. You can add in different parts of food to make. See, I sometimes the kids, they in this culture, they will ask pasta because everybody is eating. So what to do? We feel so bad. Okay, how do we now? Pasta is a processed food, but they are asking. So in my case, what I do, first one, I don't go for high industrial pasta. At least they're doing with millets and all these things in a local smaller factory kind of thing from India, and some new people whom I know. I get those pastas. Number one, it is based on other kind of things, small scale industry. Then number two, I enhance that food by adding these kind of things. So this way it will beat that, one, it will nullify the effect of, at least the negative effect of industrialization. So to that level today we have challenges. Even though I have so much knowledge about it, even my own kids, they like to eat outside. At least once in a week they are asking, oh, I want to try this. All different restaurants, they're teenage kids. But we have to be realistic. So what we can do best, we cannot because we all tried at young age. If we want to try, we try different things. That's how young age, we explore things, right? So that is because of the knowledge they want. It's not about their likings, but they want to explore. The knowledge is growing, but we have to be careful. It's just because we want every culture, we cannot try every culture, because it's going to be it's going to be a problem after some time. But we have to have a balance. So how do we balance this? So by adding this kind and energizing this food, blessing the food, all these things, it will nullify. Okay, so that level only we can do right now. But most of the time we have a good food, whatever we keep, palayasur, kanji, all these things. So we should appreciate at least whatever they are eating already is good. So some days this is fine. We cannot completely control. Okay. So you think about adding these kind of components in the food, Kila Nalli, all ashwagandha. So, this is, even though it's a Ayurvedic herb, you can, ashwagandha is used in also Siddha tradition and all. Okay, these are amazing herbs that you can use in some way or the other. There are ways to use, as I told you, bow and arrow methods are there in Siddha, how to use it. But it is okay. You cannot follow everything so accurately in this world where there are a lot of other things that are going wrong. So at least use some way. We should use some of these herbs. Okay, now I will open up for questions. Okay, so we don't have much time. So next, the idea is I will just go with the next week is one herb, that's Karisale. I will tell you how to make a photo medicine out of Karisale and take as photons. Okay, that's another way of taking Karisale. And I will tell you passive healing. So passive healing methods, how you going to passively heal your kids using such methods. What all things that you can do as a parent instead of forcing them. So these are the herbs that you can do, and I will use techniques when they're sleeping, what you can do, where you have to place certain things. I will tell you. From your side, you put the effort. Don't force them. It's not possible. Okay. So passively, whatever way you can do, we can do. That will be the successful for this kind of a problem. Then you're trying to make the kid do that, do this, that's not going to be, that's going to give more pressure. for the kid. As a parent, can you find time? Can you meditate? Can you find more time for you? Can you be calm? So look at yourself. You only have to change. It's not the kid. You change, the kid will change. You see in a mirror morning to evening, you see what are you do. You think, analyze, think and see. What am I good? Am I without pressure? Am I running? Am I like thinking something else? Am I concentrating on my really? Am I giving mindful time to my kid? I'm just giving time or mindful time. Keeping on the phone every 24 hours and your kid is there with you. You're not concentrating. You're with them physically, but not mindfully. So think about all these things. Then there's a lot of things that we need to fix. It's not the kids. If you have given enough of that, then we will see next level your kid we can fix. Does it make sense? Okay. Hopefully it makes sense. Right? So you have to make sense out of it. Otherwise. So I am very, sometimes I'm little maybe harshly telling this because I'm little concerned, worried about the community who are suffering from this, because I know what is happening. I have come from different cultures and I have seen like the advantage of the different cultures. We have such amazing things in our culture, and we haven't used we are using the bad part of two cultures today, and that's what, whatever we do have in our culture bad and the Western culture bad and mix. That's what is happening, like all the movies that we are taking today. So there are best parts. We take the best part of this culture, fused together, we have amazing things happening. So that's why I want you all to understand this. I'm throwing this up. So it could be little forceful, but I really mean it. Okay. So please open up for questions kindly. Yes. Any questions? You can. Yes, please, Santosh.
Hi, Dr. Shan. So my son is 4 years old and he's non-verbal. So I just came to the last part of the discussion. So you're talking about all the herbal things, right? So we heard about that, the vacha. Yeah. So if we give that, so some benefit in the verbal way, speaking way, so they can speak faster than normally. So what is your opinion on that?
So I told you, don't go for linear model. Did you listen to my older lecture or no?
Not.
This is the first
I will.
class you're attending?
Oh, first class I attended.
Yes. So again, I'm reinforcing this. Don't go for linear model.
Okay.
Don't think that one thing will do this. That also adds. One thing will give 5%, 3%, like that.
Oh, okay.
You have to do many things for the verbal thing. You have to give, whatever training they undergo here for speech and other therapy, you do that. One thing. The other thing is that we can do marma. Different marma points are there in the body. You have to do that. And then we have to, there are other techniques for the speech. You can help, like how you will be becoming mindful, create tools in your house that they will shout and play and things like that. So you have to create that environment. With all these factors only you can create something. It's not just with one herb give them, that will not happen. But this is additionally you can add, I'm telling you. Okay.
Yeah. So
but for the speech and all, there are other kind of herbs, okay, which we will talk. Okay, so I don't want to go out of the topic. There are many other herbs and all for speech and all. Okay, so you have to look at what kind of really the speech delay is because of this or something else. There are other kind of thing, Then we can use other kind of Ada Todai and many other things are there. Okay, so those things can open up. So we have to Udana Vayu is there. Udana Vayu, we stimulate with Udana Vayu, there are stimulations. Or Udanavai opens up the speech. So there are things. So you try to find as a here I am giving you overall perspective that specific to that you have to, there are many dimensions of that you have to do to come up out of that problem. So don't limit yourself to saying that, okay, this will help like that. Okay.
Yeah, I understood that what you mentioned. So 1%, 3%, like many things we need to add that. But my question is it supposed to give, or we supposed to not to give this vacha?
No, this is a common thing that you can give.
Okay, so that's what. Okay, I got it. Yeah, thank you.
I'm telling for every person who is suffering from autism or ADHD, hypertension, this kind of thing, this will help.
Okay, yeah, thank you.
Okay. Yes. Any other questions? Yes. Either you should question me, or you should give a comment. Did you understand anything? You can say no, this doesn't make sense. Okay, that's fine.
So Dr. Shan, this is Sabita again.
Yes.
So I wanted to share my experience on what you said. So even before I was a member of Siddha Veda, before 10 years, I could say I had a very bad gut issues like hyperacidity and all. So what I followed is the elimination diet, as you said. But I didn't know the complete science as you explained now in the energy levels. But at that time when I went to naturopathy, they first asked me to eliminate dairy and gluten. And just when I eliminated the diet and took no medicine, did no changes, but only thing that I followed was to eat the fresh food, no refrigerated food, and no reheating of any food. So when I followed that, 90% of my issues were naturally gone within a period of 3 weeks without taking any medical supplements.
Right.
Yeah, that's when the conviction started, and I started completely following on the way of considering the food as medicine or the breath as medicine, where we can really, without external help, when we create a nurturing environment in our body, we can heal naturally.
Yeah, definitely.
So I just wanted to share it so that the other audience might also get some conviction.
Thank you for sharing, because somebody need to vouch for this. Otherwise, people won't believe these things because this is new for them. Everything that they were practiced was taking some medicine, and this is linear model. It's a wrong model by taking some medicine every day like that kind of thing. So you have to, food is only the medicine. So all these things, I'm not even telling take it like a medicine, but this is can we integrate with the food. Certain things we do in a these are like external medicines. If you're putting karisala here, karisala madak thailam, all these things are available. They are also medicines. Medicine means not only going through the mouth. That is oral medicine. These are transdermal drug delivery. Transdermal. Topical drug delivery.
Sorry, Dr. Shan. But one thing we diligently follow is to eat mindfully.
Yes, mindful. That is very important. That's the last week I taught only that only. We only did mindfulness. I made them the taste thing for them and mindfulness. And I told how important the mindfulness is for this particular thing. So I want the parent to experience that even before going to the kid. You cannot expect the kid to be mindful. First parent become mindful. You can create a field. A parent, and see, 4 year up to 12 years, you can control field completely. Your kid is you only. You meditate, kid is automatically in that field. There is no difference. You are angry, the kid is also angry. After 12 years, their karma is very different. They will have their own karma. Even if you meditate, they can be in another space. Little tough. But up to 2020, yes, but after that is tough. Very slow progress only. I will tell you, I'll be very natural. I shouldn't tell, give you big promise. But after that, progress will be lesser, like the rate. But overall, it is possible. I would put more effort when they are young. Try to do everything and make the change. It will disappear. 4 year and all, like our one of our friend who did he leave already, or who was that? Okay, so Shantosh, right? So 4 year and all is very easy to deal with.
Yeah.
So you can really make a lot of changes that all these things will disappear. Okay. So I will tell you some activity in the next after photo medicine. So next week will be passive medicine. I will talk about photo medicine, etc. And after that, I'll talk about what activity you should do, what kind of environment you have to create in the house for this activity based. What all activity will clean this problem? What kind of instrument you're using? Something like a plastic, what happens? What happens if you put a iron rod, but or a wooden, very strong metal? I mean, they are depending on what we use, where we use, how we use, and the safety and other things. I will tell you what all you can use, so that way you will know what happens. You have to know the science. It's not everything you can explain in the Western axioms. Very limited in the Western. You're thinking Western way, all Google things are all Western knowledge only is there. That will not give you information about this authentic knowledge. Is not available there, right? So this is ancient knowledge, indigenous knowledge, and this is a science. Every culture has a science and technology. Okay, so that logics are different. Logic need not be Western logic. The logics are set different. Every science you can have a science and logic, a logic and a solution, a problem, then a solution, and then a logic. This is called science. It doesn't matter how the logic is. So you have a problem, I am able to solve you. That means you have a solution, and then I should be able to explain. I should not tell God bless, God did this. Then it becomes religion. If I am able to explain in a different kind of system, it doesn't matter. These all different kind of axioms I use, then still it is science. Evidence base is not for mechanism. The logic that they are telling about cell and everything is not evidence based. Only the result is evidence based. That I can also show. Okay, so that's what I want you all to understand this, because many of them don't know what science is, because most of our people, most of them, they work as either they go to mainstream science, become doctors, then they never turn back. They go against this modern ancient system. The other ones are, they don't even know science, they all become software engineers, and they don't go enter into science. So they don't even have an idea about what science. Whatever they know is through Google. So you have to know what science is in a broader to understand this. Yeah, we can get all these things. I can give you some sources. You can I am trying to, we can work with Mahendiran and all. We can make this happen. We already have these kind of sources available. I would suggest you to buy in India itself. You can ship it, whatever it is. Shipping is the only cost. Somebody is coming, you can do. I will give you sources in India, and you can buy from there, and then you ship it, because shipping is costly. We all tried all those things. Shipping is the costliest part. You can, if somebody is coming here, you can bring it. Okay, certain things are allowed. Everything you have, see, many questions will come. Is this approved by FDA? All these things. See, what is approved by FDA? Is Jeeragam approved by FDA? Any of the ancient herbs, you are putting so many things in this. This star anise, is that approved by as a medicine? But you're eating. So you have to understand the difference between the medicines, how Western medicine is derived versus this. Western medicine is derived synthetically with using the component and everything, you know. So synthetically derived, all the Western medicine. Here in Ayurveda, Siddha herbs, what they do, they take, say there is a green, okay, Nilavare powder, some Sirukire. Sirukire is another herbs, right? So Sirukire is like green. So they take that green, dry in the sun or whatever the process is they will do, and then make a powder and press the powder to make pellet. Because churnam means powder form only we should eat most of the things. Okay. Or you can eat as a green directly with the food. Otherwise, churnam form we can use. But the pellet form is a modernization, because you started to believe that pill means it has to be like in a dabba, like, you know, small package, and you should write the milligram before food, after meal and all. You should write. Therefore, because of you only, they are putting this. But that is different from the derived component. So therefore, it is like eating some other food only. So you don't have to be scared. Your jeera and all these biryani items, whatever we are doing, are they really approved? Nothing is approved you're eating. So don't ask that kind of silly questions. You know, this kid, this culture has not understood. So they, whatever they understood, they know on 10 herbs that only they will approve. So this and all will not be approved now. FDA will take years. So till then, all your kids all will go, you know, sorry to say. So you have to use whatever, you know, beyond the system, whatever you have to use it. You are bringing many things. Lot of things are coming in the Indian store. There won't be any question. When you say medicine, there will be a question. So I bring a supplement and use it. Okay. So that's how much I can tell you. Okay. So any other questions? We can close, otherwise it's 9 o'clock. Okay, so if no questions, I thank you. I want Selvaji. Is Selvaji here from Canada to conclude? Are you here? We can't hear you. We can't hear you, Selvaji. Can you unmute? Maybe your audio is not working. Okay. Okay, then I thank you. I want to end here. Okay, so make use of this. Next week will be very useful information. Go through my video. Those who came late, look at the sequence from first class, what I begin to hear, how this is going to create a shift in you. If you continuously watch again and again, you will have very, very small detail points. You have to come out of that kind of thinking what you had before. You need to get that, you know, the paradigm shift approach of looking at this. Then you will have an idea. And then next week, photo medicine and all, when we tell, then it will make sense to you. Okay, so go back again and again, listen to my lectures. Okay, it's all for the parents. Okay. All right then. Thank you all. See you all next
Thank you, Dr. Shan. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Amma. Where are you? I don't see
Yes,
you.
sir. I'm right here. Okay.
Oh, you please conclude and we'll.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much for telling us about the food as medicine and not only one herb as a linear thing. We have to take all the things considered.
Okay.
Yeah, we have to consider all the things. Only one thing won't solve any problem. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Sir.
Sorry, Dr. San, I have one question. Can I ask now?
Yeah, quickly, go ahead.
So, what kind of water is better? So, hearing like boiling the water or filtered water or India's steel filter or Pital water. So we can put some water in the Pital jar and all, then drink.
Simple
So
water.
simple
Water has 5
tap
parts.
water.
Water has 3 major parts.
Mhm.
One is called the physical Bhuda Bhagam. Okay, then this is the Amrita Bhagam and Ama Bhagam. Ama Bhagam is the, say, let's put at neutral, negative and positive. Okay, so if you want to have the positive water, we want to have the positive part of the water, right? So take into 5, say you're taking 5 cups of water. Take plain water, don't take plastic, all these bottles and all. Take plain water, tap water, as long as there is no lead and other things, old pipes. Take plain water, boil it. Okay, boil it. If you want, you can use filter, whatever it is, the filter. If you are already incorporate some filter in your house, then it's okay, because they use fluoride and other things here. So you can boil it, so that the 5 parts reduce into 2 parts. This is a formula by sage scientist Valalar. Okay, so 5 parts of water reduced to 2 cups. I would say even reduce like half. If you're taking 1 liter, make into half liter and add some sukku. Sukku is dry ginger. Dry ginger is a process. It's not like ginger drying. So it is a medicine. Get the traditional dry ginger, sukku it's called. Okay, it's a medicine. Don't confuse with some ginger getting dry. Don't get into modern store and they think that ginger drying and doing that. It's a different medicinal process. Use 1 pinch, add to the water, reduce into 2 cups and take that 2 cups. So like that, if you want to keep, it will take a long time to boil. You can do this. This is one way of purifying water. Another thing is to charge. There are other ways of feeling also. Agathir also has given a formula. You can use this is 1/8 part. You can use the karvapillai. The karvapillai, that is the curry leaf stem. Okay, and the stem of the moringa stem. You can use, boil it, reduce it to 1/8 of water. That's a little tedious process. You can even charge water. Charge water, you can use equal amount of gold, silver and copper, and using charged water. These are ways, but best way is number 1 is very easy and clear. You take, if you reduce more than half of the water, simmer it and drink, it is safe according to our ancient science. But given that, you have to identify if the water is already, if you're putting poison there, it's a different story. Okay. All right.
Yeah, so thanks, Dr. Shan. But one question is still I have it. If you get the tap water, right? So some toxic lead or some chemicals are there. So if you boil it, that's still chemicals. After the boil, also the chemicals parts still there.
Yeah. So use a filter if you're so concerned. It will cost around $2,000 to $3,000 to put a filter in the overall house.
Still filter, right? So,
yeah. So there are filters.
I have it. Yeah.
Other filters also, there are herbal filters and are also available. If you're in New Jersey area, some of the, I have seen some people have developed that kind of using herbs and all, they have filters. Okay. So there are many modernized things. I have come across many kind of companies, over.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
All right. So thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Okay,
Okay,
see you
bye.